just in terms, still talking about general challenges and in a way that's sort of a graphic representation of the discussion I had about having institutional support. When you have institutional support, you will have some control, and that, it's not that it's a rigid set of controls. This can be defined in the policy, how much control you want to have. And then, in a way, you will have to provide this repository, a way to transfer the artifacts, a way to organize artifacts and include things and make changes. All of this is kind of provided by the institution, and all of this repository kind of feeding into your portrait of your work. Now, to help these things work, we have used other social media things to help promote these activities. One is we have a student lounge that helps to keep students connected, and that's outside of the institution, and it's a Google's group. And so we have all the alumni in there that can participate as well. So we need tools that are outside of this of ePortfolio, but just to be able to promote the activities that are related to ePortfolios. So this is actually a snapshot of Christine's first little beginning tutorial in how to go through the journey of creating an ePortfolio. So having the student lounge, I am able, for example, to answer any questions related to ePortfolios or anything else at any time. It doesn't have to be inside a class, outside of class. The students can share among themselves, I'm thinking of using this, or I'm thinking, just this week I had a student asking, Google got away with Pages, they have sites, is that good? I said, yeah, nice. And having Google, like you said yesterday, choosing the platform, one of the things that you always have to think about, not only the easy interface, but who's backing the interface if you're using a free. And Google, it's not going to go away tomorrow, so I would say kind of reliable, So that was my answer to him, go for it. So there's a lot of sharing there through this lounge. One important piece that we created, and I said I was going to mention about the requirements, is we, part of this action research, one of the pieces was to develop exactly this. What is required? What do we need to have in there? And we established a couple of aspects. Okay, you should go through all your courses, and here's a minimum of assignments that need from the program that needs to be within the ePortfolio. And as we did that, we actually produced a rubric. We produced a rubric in terms of, okay, what is the excellent, the good. So when they reach the capstone, the faculty member that is the instructor of that capstone can use that as a reference, although this has been available, is always there as they, as they're building their portfolio. This rubric is there, they can look at it as okay, this is my reference. But also in the end, in the course where the portfolio becomes one of the passing-fail in that particular class, the instructor will use this rubric to say, okay, you've achieved, the minimum to get a pass in the course considering your ePortfolio. And I have to tell you, I mean, the fact that we're promoting more the ePortfolio throughout the program and the easiness of the tools, we have active. So Allison, for example, who's my guinea pig for everything ePortfolio related, she said that she still has her whole thing under, her student account, EDU account, although that account might, not be valid anymore. So it's just a reference as you start. So it's still there. The Epsilon is very nice because it gives you all, now it's very structured, doesn't allow the students to choose much, in terms of how they want to portray, because it has the boxes. You know, it defines, this is the boxes for assignment, this is the boxes for this is the boxes. So there's not a lot of liberty in terms of design, of anything like that. So for those students that really want to, and there are some that are really like in the technology area, or they just like the design part, that is really boxing you in terms of structure. Okay, but if you want something that is very easy, this goes there, here, here, here. You even have the spaces of documents and reflections. You even have that, you know, available to you through Epsilon. My first one, actually, when I was doing my capstone, I actually used WordPress, and it's come a long way since I did it. I mean, WordPress is really incredible in terms of how they have developed new things. Now, for those that are not savvy technologically and want something really turnkey, I would not suggest WordPress, because it has a lot of little things that you have to define. So I wouldn't. So the advantage of WordPress, it's actually a block engine, but you can make it very static, that it looks like a web page and not necessarily a blog. I mean, you don't want necessarily your e-portfolio to look like a blog. Some people do want that, but others just want, you know, this is just my web page, and not constant chronological, that you have to be posting things there. And then the first post is like from 3 years ago that shows like total, you know, old stuff. So then I experimented with some other things. NetVibes is really, really nice. Actually, when I first experimented with NetVibes, there was this guy presenting NetVibes to be used as a PLE, and it was a very interesting experiment, and you definitely could do that, because NetVibes allows you to have a personal view and a public view, and you could define your tools. And it allowed me, for example, to kind of cluster all sorts of places where I was outside in one place. So an interesting tool to use. And then for people that are in higher education, you know, I would suggest programs that have e-portfolios. Academia.edu is a nice place to actually have this higher education environment. You could create your program. It's within an institution. All of that kind of feeling of organization is there. And then you could have your students sort of create their e-portfolios within that, and you even see how they hang to the program and how they're connected to the institution, if they want to do that. So we actually in our program have a couple of people that have created their little spaces in there, or just linked to their from their little space connected to their e-portfolio. So that's a way of gathering everything together. But they have all sorts of, you can post documents, everything else is there. A little boxed in, not a lot of design options, but still pretty good. Recently, not there, but recently we've used Weebly, was one that I've seen students really use in the last two. So I don't know if I even have time for questions. I don't have a watch.
What do you think is going to be important to gain? What do you think is going to be important to gain your institutional support? Like you mentioned, you said that's a challenge.
Well, I think that, because I do all these things outside, and I don't ask anything, I'm always thinking someday they'll come to me and say, you can do this. And I'll get my hands slapped. So if I had a little bit of support that, say, a policy that said, this is okay, or even some money to do like this focal group, it's not so much support in terms of providing the environment, but just something that, even gives the student, okay, here's a default place. If you don't want to choose anything outside, you can use this, and we're giving this to you. I would like to have that, something like that. And something that I would be guaranteed that no one would come back and say, you shouldn't be doing this. This is against this policy and that policy. Yeah, more in that sense. But a default, If you don't have anything else, this is what you're going to use.
Right.
And it's good, not a, Thank you.